alongside Stephen Simcox today, as we had to flip around our days this week, Stephen.
And you flipped around my side of the desk.
I did, because I was over here recording something earlier. And so I think it's good to change up your perspective on things.
I don't know. I feel like, who was the team that painted the visiting locker room pink back in the day?
It was Iowa,
right?
Iowa did it, yeah.
Kind of feel like you're doing that to me right now.
Maybe so.
Trying to throw me off my game.
By the way, I'd like to call attention to, once again, our green gridiron helmet behind me here. Hold on, I'll show it to Steve. This is great TV here, but this is our green gridiron, one of our partners.
That looks awesome.
Made us this helmet. So in case you didn't see it on yesterday's show.
You got a visor in there?
Yeah. All that.
Did you ever wear a visor when you played?
No.
That looks like the helmet that like Willie Beeman would wear.
Yeah. It really does look
Doesn't
like
it?
Yeah. My name is Willie Beeman.
Best fictional quarterback of all time?
Oh gosh.
Joe Kane.
Yeah. Joe didn't play a lot.
He didn't need to.
He had that like, gone
to.
for rehab stint in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
Shane Falco's got to be up there.
He's good.
Yeah.
Vince Howard, Michael B. Jordan, young Michael B. Jordan in Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kurt Warner. No, that story couldn't have been real.
Did you watch that movie?
I have not. No, not yet.
I never did. No.
Amanda wants to watch it, and I kept kind of putting it off, even though I love Zachary Levi. I love him. Love him. One of my favorite actors. I just haven't.
The trailer made it look like a Hallmark movie.
Yes, that's why I'm having a hard time. Well, which is probably why she wants to watch it. Yeah, she loves Hallmark movies. Yeah, no. We had an argument the other day. An argument, not a disagreement, a tiff. Like, just like one of those weird things that you're like, you find yourself like going back and forth with, and you're like, I don't know why we're both trying to die on this hill. Mm-hmm. But she went to go see the Blake Lively film, It Ends With Us.
Okay. And
she's like, I think you would like it. I'm like, well, why? Like, what about this movie? She's like, well, you like most movies. I said, that's true. Mm-hmm. Like, if you've made an effort and I can tell what you're doing, I'm not going to trash it, but I don't like all movies. I mean, there's bad ones and there's ones that are, or ones that I don't, I don't care to watch, and even movies that are really good, like that are award-winning movies. Sometimes I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get into this. For example, there was a movie from a couple years ago called Women Talking, about like a group of like women in, I want to say it was like in the 1800s that were, talking about some bad things were happening to them and like, rallying together. And Frances McDormand was in it and she's fantastic. But I was like, you know what?
Not for me. Yeah.
Not for me. I get the gist. Men are bad. We've had a bad history. I don't need 2 hours and 52 minutes of this.
Sure.
I'm okay. I got it. I got the gist. And so she's like, but I think you would. I'm like, I mean, I've watched the trailer with you like 4 times trying to figure out where in the world I would find interest in this movie. And I can't. And she's mad. I'm like, yeah, but you won't watch a Star Wars movie with me or like some kind of slapstick buddy comedy. And she's like, that's different. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just the other side of that coin.
Yeah. My wife's like that. She doesn't like sports, and that's fine. Like, I get it. It's not everybody's thing.
No.
But she doesn't really make an effort to engage with it. But my goodness, Real Housewives is on the TV. I'm supposed to sit down and like see what's going on. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do that. No, and like there are lines that you have to draw. Now, look, she's got me into Big Brother and The Amazing Race, which I love. The Amazing Race. I really enjoy Big Brother. I've gotten into these things that I enjoy them. I like Big Brother because it's like if you put stupid people and like a couple smart ones into a house, and then you can't let them read or watch TV. They just have to be in the house. And then occasionally you're kind of like, all right, you guys are going to climb up this slide covered in butter and try to answer trivia questions. I'm like, I'm in for that. Yeah. I mean,
because like you'd be so bored. You're like, I don't care if I get butter all over me. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to win $750,000 here at the end of this thing. So that entertains me. And then to see people like, like, okay, we got to get Steven out. All right. So like the thing is, we got to get Steven out. Steven's too good of a player. I really don't like the way he's doing these things. And you're like, I mean, who cares? Like, but like figure out a way, like the smartest ones are the ones who figure out a way to win the thing without like, like people knowing that they masterminded their demise.
Is the pot really $750K now?
Yeah.
So there's this show on History Channel called Alone. And I've watched a couple seasons. Do you know about the show, Garrett?
No. I do
Okay. So people are literally just camping like in the most remote places in the world.
Yeah.
So like out in the woods in Canada where it's super cold. And the premise of the show is last person that's there and can survive wins. So either, people tap out or they get medical checks like once a week. And if they've lost too much weight or it's getting concerned about their health, they'll make them leave. And so there's like, you're by yourself, you have a GoPro, you're doing all the filming by yourself, GoPro and some cameras. The winner gets $100,000. That's not life-changing money.
I mean, not enough to like.
I mean, it's a lot of money.
Not enough to possibly get scurvy.
Yeah. You're just out there by yourself. You could die. And if you win, you get $100K. Like that's
okay.
That's tough.
I actually do know the show that you're talking about now that you describe it. My brother-in-law, who's very outdoorsy, tried to get on it. And I was like, why would you want to do that? And then I kind of was like, oh, he wants to have an excuse to get away from my sister. So like eating grubs in the woods.
I'm gonna have to take out the trash for 2 weeks. Just get do my own thing, man.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I promise you, if you went to the people in Alone and said, hey, what made you do this? And like, oh, I just really want to challenge myself. You're like, I ran out of excuses to leave. And so the chance to win $100,000 is the only thing I could tell my wife was that I did. So I'm here.
Yeah. One season, a guy shot a moose and like he killed a moose about midway through his time. And he just lived off that meat the rest of the time. And he won. And his wife came out there and you can kind of tell he was like, I'd be down to just stay out here for a couple more weeks.
Yeah. Like they're in broken marriages.
Yeah. I got all this moose meat.
Yeah. I mean, I did it once. Like now I can now I don't have the rules of like these other things. I could bring other things out here.
Right.
I could build a cabin. I don't need to just stay in this tent. Like I've already won the money. I've got $100,000. That'll go a long way in the
Canadian woods. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to go a long, long way. That's like $1 million. It's like $1 million in Cocoa Beach, Florida. That's what that is.
He's got a whole estate up there.
Yeah. Just guys, just like, oh,
sorry, honey, I'm still playing.
Yeah. And here's your wife. Oh, hi, honey.
Glad you made it. Thought this was a remote place where you can't get here.
Yeah. Thought me, rather living in the woods with no electricity or toilets was kind of
a good deterrent,
an indicator of how much I think this is falling apart.
Well,
but no, I'll be back.
Yeah, let's fly in a plane together across the world. That sounds fun.
Yeah. So Steven, let's get into some Big 12 news to start off the show. Brett Yormark announced that the conversations about expansion with UConn are paused. Suspended. What was the verbiage he used?
I believe it was suspended. Let me double check.
Suspended.
This feels like, I mean, would you say he's at odds with the decision makers right now about this?
It's paused.
Okay.
I would say that the decision makers don't see the urgency to add UConn.
Okay.
Not to say they would never add UConn, but
why are we doing
they
that
have
right now?
no additive value right now. Like basketball, like other than, he believes that basketball is getting 30 cents on the dollar to what they
deserve.
Yeah. And so adding UConn helps up that 30 cents on the dollar to getting $1 on the dollar.
I think I totally understand what his thought process is with basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. best basketball conference in the nation. That should mean something. Historically, it hasn't. I imagine he, as a salesman, in his mind is just like, well, I can sell this, in a way that nobody else has. But it also just feels like this is kind of his pet cat, and he really wants to get it done.
Yeah.
I think eventually it'll get done. But as you said, maybe they don't see the need to bring them in right now. So yeah, I wonder if it starts to cause some friction, because this is the second time now that he's kind of been like, all right, this is my thing. And they've pushed back and said, you know what? We're not feeling that.
Yeah. I don't understand. I didn't understand the urgency of it. And what is going to happen between now and 2031 with UConn football? Are they going to build a new stadium? Are they going to do I just don't know.
What's another thing that to consider is what's going to happen in that time frame with the financial disparity between the Big Ten and the SEC. Like, the SEC is already making a push to make basketball better as a whole, and if they have more money to throw at it, how much longer does that close the gap at some point?
I think that's probably why he's trying to react to what else is going on around that. But there's just no reason to do it right now. Like, it's not additive in the moment, and I don't think. And here's the other thing: the presidents might want to do it, but clearly Fox didn't want to do it. Like, he thought that maybe if ESPN was gung ho for it, and knowing that ESPN is founded by UConn alums, like they have UConn running through the DNA of ESPN, that he thought like, okay, well, we can do this, like there'll be enough here. And then maybe if they're committing this much more money, then Fox will be like, okay, well, we'll kick in. Mm-hmm. But Fox is like, nah, I think they'd be like, come to us when you have an ACC team and then we'll talk,
Maybe he also sees this as, I feel like the SEC, like, I think it's true, but they've also done such a good job of branding with football. Mm-hmm. Like, I think if we walked out on the street here and we polled 20 people, regardless of their sports knowledge, if we were like, what's the best conference in college football, they would probably all say the SEC. Mm-hmm. Maybe some homers would say Big 12 or whatever. But I don't know if like I feel like people that follow sports and follow college basketball would be like, oh yeah, Big 12, amazing basketball conference. I'm not sure if just your casual, sports watcher would think, oh yeah, Big 12, historically really good basketball, because it's been more recent. But you add UConn, then that's a brand that like everybody knows for that sport.
Yeah.
So that's another.
I mean, there are things that make sense, but there's just like, they can't just take what they want. That's the thing. Like, UConn's not going to be like, okay, you can have basketball and nothing else. Like, you can have men's and women's basketball. It's like, that's what, if you want just that, like, they're going to want, well, we want you to have everything. We want to be everything. We want to, okay, we'll wait on football, but we want to be in baseball and stuff like. And I don't think there's just enthusiasm to add all that and split any kind of money and not see anything from football, which is the real additive thing, as where if you get to a point 6 years from now where you can really expand and things have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, you can tag UConn in no matter what, as long as you hide them behind like an NC State and a Duke and a Pitt or something like that,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying those. I'm just saying in the scenario where the ACC would fall apart.
And those schools are available.
At this point, I really don't think that that's that realistic. So I think the ACC will try to find a way to stay together. But
Brett just also seems like, and I say this in a complimentary way, because I think it's a big strength for what he's doing. He just seems very restless. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's almost like the person in your fantasy football league that's trying to make a trade every week.
You mean me?
Yeah. I'm that guy too.
Yeah.
I'm like, every week I'm like, this is the whole point. I'm trying to be a GM. I'm trying to like rework my roster to try to get to the team that's going to make sense.
If I'm bad in fantasy football, let me tell you. And fantasy baseball, oh boy. We'll get a league, a fantasy baseball. I'll get Garrett into it. We'll do a fantasy baseball league next year.
Okay.
We'll get Chris Allman, but you'll see. I'm the Brett Yormark of that. Like,
just wheeling and dealing.
Like, Paul, I don't want Luis Robert. I don't want him. Yeah, but he'll be good later. You have 4 shortstops. Let's do this.
I'm still salty about last year. I had somebody who was going to take I can't remember which tight end it was. Like the middle of the road tight end. They just desperately needed a tight end, and they were going to send me Lamar Jackson in return. And the other members of the league voted it down because they were like, "This is silly," which was another whole thing. But bottom line is, he just seems like a dude who is. He's not going to sit on his hands, which is good. That's what you want your commissioner to do. Yeah. But then there are going to be things that he brings to the table that you're like, all right, let's pump the brakes here, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's where they are right now, right? That's where they are in the whole. All right, let's just see, and because I don't think that the ACC has an appetite for UConn at all.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Because that would be it would have been the easiest thing, not just now, but 10 times over the last 20 years. They could have been like, "Hey, UConn, come over here."
Come on, yeah. You would make sense.
Yeah. They have no problem doing that. But now that it's on pause with UConn, then I think are we getting a package? Or several packages. Emery, what is it?
Brian and Ashley.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we can't do a live unboxing video.
Oh, well, yeah. Bummer. That box right there.
I'm seeing
empty.
a single shot arcade basketball game. So what's up with that?
Oh, I guess it's probably for the tailgate.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, we might need to break it out in segment 2.
I mean, we gotta figure out if it works or not.
Yeah, just test it, see if it works.
Yeah.
I
was hoping it was going to be some of the furniture that we've ordered for the studio, but
okay.
Yeah. Instead, it's just a thing that we don't get to play with. So bummer. Thanks a lot, UPS.
Just take a little swing at UPS. That's a good idea.
I mean, they're just bringing the box in. They don't determine whether you want it or not, or who.
They don't control what it is.
Who gets to play with it.
Just some guys I got to get it off my truck.
Yeah. You ever, when you were a kid, you see your parents get a present for a kid that you wanted, for a birthday party, and you're like, oh man, Garrett's getting that thing I wanted. And you'll probably get it later, but they're like, well, we might as well get this thing. And then you're like, well, freaking Garrett's got that thing. That's kind of how I feel right now. I do
know that feeling. And I'll tell you, when you got 4 kids, when it's somebody's birthday, you get to see that feeling play out in real time. Every single time the birthday rolls around, just 3 other kids that are like, oh, gosh dang it.
Well, lives in this house,
yeah, I know.
If you guys have a good relationship with your sibling, then maybe they'll let you use it.
Right.
Yeah. If you're respectful of their things,
logic just kind of goes out the window, though.
Yeah. Now, my sister and I were far enough apart where I didn't let her touch any of my stuff because she was reckless.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get some of that too.
Yeah, where it's like, no, I'm not. I mean, I wouldn't care if you played with it. I can't play with everything all the time.
Right.
The problem is that if I let you play with it once, then neither of us get to play with it again because you've broken it.
It's broken. Yeah, that's right.
Let's be reasonable here.
That's how it goes.
I was like a young lawyer as a 9-year-old.
Just kind of seeing the cause and effect.
It didn't come out that way. It was like, no, just gonna break it. But
it wasn't that polished yet.
But that was my point. That's what I was thinking.
That was in your mind. You're like, this is the conclusion I've come to.
Yeah.
Going through the thought process.
Yeah. Wrapping it up, UConn's not going to be in the Big 12 anytime soon. When we come back, Stephen, I'm going to ask you this question. Who do you believe the luckiest team is historically in college football?